Well, welcome back. 2011 Kia Sorento, all-wheel drive. It's got bad ball joints, so we're going to replace the lower ball joints in the front on this vehicle. So hopefully you can hear that. And see the movement of the actual ball joint. It's worn out. That's what we're going to fix. We're going to come through here. You probably could do this without taking all this stuff off, but I just think it's easier to do it. The hard part is getting at that lower ball joint. It's kind of blocked in by the axle and everything else nice. So we're going to remove the caliper, the rotor. We're going to disconnect the ABS wire from the hub, upper link here. We're going to sway bar link. We're going to take it off. We're going to unbolt the knuckle and the tie rod end. Take that whole knuckle off there, split that ball joint, and get it loose and replace it. We're just going to push the caliper back in a little bit. I stole your light here. We're going to push the caliper back in, the piston back in a little bit, and we're going to undo these two bolts, one up here and one down here, and take this caliper off. I'm just sticking in here a screwdriver, get a little gap in between the pad and the rotor, and push that piston back in, so when we go to put this back together, it'll be easier to put it on there because it'll have a gap. And just push the piston all the way in. 17 millimeter, I believe, for these, if I remember correctly. I think that's what they are. Come on. Alright, 17. I'll try to break them loose first with a 1/2 inch ratchet. I think it'll work better. Get leverage. Always a problem when you don't have a lift, is trying to get leverage. There it goes. These aren't too bad. That one wasn't too bad, at least. Alright, that's loose. We'll get the top one as well, which I can't get too much difficulty, you would think. Not necessarily. Looks like it's raining out now. Oh my. Oh my. Come on. Should have put the gun back on this one. Would have been smarter. I never said I was that smart. Alright. I'm just going to hang that caliper up out of the way. Get a piece of wire up here. And just hang it up and leave it out of the way for now. So there you can see the head of that pinch bolt through the ball joint that holds it in place. The cotter pin, we can take that off and zip that out of there. Right on top of you. Try to get these as straight as we can get them. Just makes them come out easier. See if we can get the move here. It's moving. Let's just see if we can get a hold of it here. Blocking the light from you there. Not to do that. Let's see. Pry that out of here. Cotter pin. $17 millimeter again, I believe. Right on top of you. Right on top of you. That might spin the head on the other side, we'll see. Probably not, that's probably bound in there. Okay, didn't move it at all, which is kind of what I expected, because they tend to get corroded in that groove and they don't want to come out. So what I usually do, and what I did on the other side of this one, move you back to this side for a second, get you set up here. You can see the head of the bolt right here, hopefully. It's kind of hidden from you. Maybe I'll go that way a little bit. Right in here. Yeah, see that? We're going to work that back. I'm going to get a wobble extension to get around that arm that I have right here. And we're going to work it back and forth and break the corrosion up inside. It should come loose. It usually takes a little bit of doing, but it usually will come out. Work it back and forth. It's not threaded into anything yet. Now that that nut's off, it's just spinning. The idea is just to break it loose and get it loose like that. Once you have that loose, then you should be able to spin it out. Let me get a little hammer, tap it out a little bit from the other end. Keep it on. Not hitting it very hard, just kind of tapping on it. And it did felt like it came loose here. They just get corroded, so we'll clean that up before we put it back in. We're going to take this off, upper link for the sway bar link. It's probably going to get stuck on there, spin, and then we'll have to put an Allen key in it. It is 17 millimeter again. It's got part way and it's spinning the joint, so what I'll do is I'll go back and forth a little bit and then I'll put an Allen key in it to hold it. Yeah, this one's not going so easy. Spinning the joint. An Allen key and a wrench here. My Allen key, 5 millimeter. Get that in there. So I'm not blocking you too much here. Make sure it's in there good. And we're gonna have to get in there with a wrench. Get that off. All right, I just fought with that for a few minutes. This actually had flats on the back as well. I could get on there and get the gun back on it, zip it off. Took me a couple minutes, no big deal. That's disconnected now, that's good. Now let's take the rotor off. So what I usually do with these is, this is just a Phillips head, large Phillips. I put pressure on this counterclockwise like you're trying to unscrew it as you tap it, and it usually breaks them right loose. Sometimes not, but usually will. That one's already loose, didn't even have to hit it or anything. Alright, let's take the screws out and set them aside. They don't really serve any purpose except to hold the rotor when you're working on it. If you don't put them back in, it's okay. But since these came out so easy, we'll put them back in. It's like a horror movie now. Lost my power. Thunderstorms. Well, we'll try to keep going. See if we can keep going with this. See how it kind of works out here. And the generator just kicked in. Yep, there's my power. It's not my power, it's my generator. My generator powers this side of the garage. Alright, so in here, try to do this without, well, I'm on limited light now. We're going to undo this cotter pin on the end of the tie rod. Grab a hold of that. And I'm probably blocking it from all this, and the light's terrible now because I lost power. Alright, let's see if we can just get that to move a little bit. Find my cutter still. Obviously we put it down and didn't put it in the right place. See if we can hammer into that. Yep, works. and just pry it out. I know it's kind of hard for you to see this, but I'm limited on light right now, and I can't really stop because I got to get this done tonight. Yep, there's cotter pin. Cotter pin's out. I believe this one's 17. I believe it's 19 actually. 19 millimeter, I think. At least I think that is. Yeah, 19. We'll zip that out of there. This is where our tools help a lot. Alright. Stick that back on there temporarily, just to hold it, and we're gonna hit what it goes through. Try to break it loose here. See if we can break it loose. Usually not too bad. There it goes. It's a steel arm, so you can do that. I don't think I do that with all of them. I think I got my power back. Did I? Yeah, got my power back. Hey, the lights are back. Okay. Probably a good thing because I don't think my compressor's on the generator. Alright, that's loose. I'm going to undo the upper and lower get you a good spot, upper and lower strut mount for this. Before I do that, I'm going to reach in, I'll show you. I'll show you where it is. I haven't undone my, I'm going to do my axle nut too. So back in here, hopefully you can see that. I don't know what you can see. That's the ABS sensor and the line. I'm going to disconnect that and then disconnect it up here, get it out of the way. Just pull it out of the bracket there from the strut so we don't cause any damage to it. Next, I should remove that axle spindle, that nut from the spindle. Would be a good idea, probably. Alright, we'll set that back in there. Alright, this is, I think it's 32 or 34, I don't know. We'll see. Pull the cotter pin out of that as well. A little better than that. Get the back one first, I think. Yeah, let's get that one straightened out. Try to get these as straight as possible in here. Just makes it easier to get them apart, get them out. I gotta put one on the other side still. Almost forgot. Gotta do that. Okay, zip that off of there. I'll make sure the axle will move and it's hung up. I got to get it loose. Okay. So we're just going to put the nut back on there to protect the shaft. Spin it on just to see if we can get it to move. I want to do that before we start smacking on it. To make sure it'll move perfectly. Yeah, it moved right away. Good. That's a good thing. Get that off of there. Okay. Good to go. Got the shaft loose here. Just going to tap that back in some more now because I know it's loose. That's exactly what happened on the other side. Alright, it's pretty loose. Reach in there, there's a washer. Pull that washer out, just grab it with a magnet, pull it out, set that aside. Okay. Now, up to here, 19. Alright, just hold one side, 19, and the head is 17. Zip them out of there. Probably turn you so you can see what I'm doing. Might help. Huh. All right. Loosen these two up. Come on. All right, fine. Fine. That's one. Okay. Upper and lower one. Okay. Manage tools better, guy. Get my other nut here. Man, my power just keeps on and off tonight. It's okay. Tap these out. They shouldn't be that hard to get out. Which they're not. Try here. There it goes. Let me get my ABS sensor before I forget. Don't forget your ABS sensor. I'm just going to reach in the back here and undo that. Now you can't see it, but I'm just undoing the bolt. No big deal. Right there, that sensor. So it's just pushed in, but you got to kind of break it loose. So I just kind of move it back and forth. I'll get a screwdriver and a little hammer. Do not wheel on this. You do not want to break this. I'm just tapping it to move it in one way, get it turning, and then I'll push it back. I'm just trying to break it, get it loose, a little looser in here. And get it looser like that. Turn it again. Just work it back and forth a few times. I think that's probably enough. Let's see if we can just wiggle it now. Yeah, it's wiggling. Yeah. Pull it out. Unclip it from the bracket on the strut mount. Just hang it up top in the coil. Just run it through the coil spring to hold it out of the way. Plan action here. Well, not the shaft, but the ball joint. Good. Almost there. Almost out. A little bit more. Come on. I'm real close to being out of there. Well, no, I still got to get, I'm out of the shaft, but I got to get past the threads on it. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can do it. I'm hoping I can, but I might not be able to. Well, maybe. It's real close. Oh, come on. You're like 1/8 of an inch. There we go. All right. Good. Up out of the way. I don't have to worry about hitting it, so let's go back to here again. Put a fork in here. Want my smaller one first. Narrower one, I should say. Not smaller, it's narrower. I'll get this started here. It's already moving a little bit, but you see, it's got to move at a pretty fair amount here. So what I do is just I'll put another one on the other side and kind of stack them to get enough play, and I should be able to get. I had to go back and forth a few times on the other one to get it moving, to get it in there. So I'll probably have to do the same thing here. Try to get this in here in some kind of meaningful fashion, with enough gap that I can slide it in. Come on. I want to get them right on top of each other, if at all possible. All right, let me get the one on this side now. The other thing I can possibly, if you're going to do this, you got to be careful doing this, is just kind of shock the top of it a little bit. I do not want to deform it, and then you got problems getting it out. Just going to also do it here as well, just kind of shock it. Oh, that worked real well. That worked really well. So all I did was come in here with an air hammer and kind of vibrate this. You just got to be careful if you're going to do that. You don't want to deform it, and then you're going to have a really hard time getting it out of the knuckle. Just be careful. But you can see it pushed it right out. Very little effort. If you don't have that, what you can do, and what I had to do with the other one because I wasn't using my brain, which sometimes I don't do, was take 2 pickle forks when the knuckle's still on there and go in with one. Go in one on one side, get it in there, and then slide this other one and kind of push them together, and it gives you enough height, it'll pop off. Okay, so I got a snap ring down in here. I have to get that loose. I need a better pair of outside snap ring pliers, but it's on my tool list. A few pages in. I'm trying to get in a spot here because I've lost power again, so I don't have a regular light. I just want to see if I can get this to move a little bit, which I can. And once I get that, I'm going to stick a screwdriver in there and just try to pop it out of the way. Once I get it started, it's not bad usually. Just got to get it started. I don't need a socket. I don't know why I got a socket, but I kind of wanted a screwdriver. Let me move my knuckle out of my way here for a time being. Trying to stay out of your way at the same time here. Get at this. All I do is get it to move a little bit and see if I can pry it up. Once it's up, it's done. Once it's up, just be careful it doesn't shoot across the room and hit you. Once you get it out of the groove, it should be pretty, I say that now, but it should be pretty easy actually once you do that. There it goes. That's better. Alright. Snap rings off. Alright, so it's dental time. Let me find my pick. See if I hid that from myself as well, which I seem to have been doing with all my tools tonight. Put a new shelf, a second shelf in my cart. It's helping a little bit, but you still got to manage your tools. Just got to come around and clean the groove out here, where there's dirt and stuff in there, corrosion. You have to push it down through the arm, so the less stuff you have in there, less dirt, the easier it's going to go out. So we'll just go around with a pick. Little small screwdriver, do the same thing. And we'll just, I don't know if I can get this boot off here or not. Make it easier to see maybe for you. Yeah, it's got a ring on it too. Maybe. It's pretty beat. I'm just peeling up. This is why I don't particularly, I like greasable fittings if I can get them. Can't always get them, but if I can get them, I definitely like them better because the grease that's in here is just dry. It's dried up. And greasable, you just keep greasing them when you do your maintenance. Well, if you do your maintenance. A lot of people don't. But you can see, that's all dry and crusty. And this, hear it? It's beat. It's done. It's no good. Alright, let me get my ball joint press here. So, I gotta press it down, which means I need a cup underneath that's not going to interfere. It's got to go around the whole thing, so that's that one. Put my there's my cup, just like that. You don't want to block it. I get my other plate here. What I want to do is I want to push down on the shaft like that, or if it fits in there, even better, probably like that. Either way, this will be better actually because that'll hold the tool. Put this in the bottom like this, push it down, and make it my forcing screw ready. Everything's going to be right in my way here, guaranteed. I already can see it. I already can see everything's going to be right in the way. We'll make it work somehow. Shouldn't be that hard. Okay. Get this in here, try not to drop everything, get it all lined up. I know you can't see that. I just want to make sure I'm pretty centered on it so I'm not blocking it in any way. And I apologize for the lighting. Lighting's hard enough usually, but when you don't have power, I've got my overhead lights because my generator controls them. Alright, so I got to push that down. So I'm going to do it with air gun, you can do it with a, you know, a wrench. It'll work. It'll work fine. It takes a little longer, that's all. Find my socket. Socket's on the other side of my cart. It's still in reach. Okay. I'm just going to come up to the top of that forcing screw and run it down. It is moving. You may not be able to see it, but it's moving. There it goes. Much faster with air tools. I said in one of my other videos, I was in Kentucky a couple weeks ago and did a job for my niece's husband, a wheel hub and a lower control arm. And of course, I had limited tools because I don't, you know, I carried some of my tools, but I don't have any, and no air tools. And man, I miss air tools when you realize how much you miss them. So that's it. Just pressed it out. We'll get the other one. We'll press it in. First, I'm going to come around here and clean this up just with a piece of sandpaper, emery cloth, Scotch-Brite, something. All right. Before I press it in, just clean it out. Make it easier on yourself. Get any corrosion out of there. Not a lot. Just want to clean it up. Brake clean. Chemical of 1,001 uses. Even for brakes sometimes. Alright, spray that off. It's nice and clean. Alright, let me get my ball joint here. Here's part number for this one. Hopefully you can see that. K90375 Moog. I like Moog stuff. Had good luck with it. This one's not greasable. I said if I can get greasable, I like it better. Couldn't get it for this one for what I had. Now, you're gonna, there's your new snap ring without the eyelets in it, which I don't like, but no big deal. I'm definitely going to use it. This boot that's on here, you got to take this off. You can't press it on there with it on there. It's too wide. So I'm just going to pull this up, pull it off, set it aside for now. Now this looks like that. And we're going to fit this together now. You push this up. You want to push on the outer rim here, out here. I'll show it back in the light here. So I want to get a cup that fits that. That's how I'm going to push it in. I put my plate, usually on a kit. You can get this loaner kit for a ball joint press from most auto parts store. They'll loan it to you. You just, you know, you get your money back when you take it back to them. This has got to go through this to get up all the way, so this has got to be on top. The other one's the one that goes on the bottom. Stick it in there like that. Forcing screw has to go down on this one. All right, and then I need a cup. The cup I used on the bottom I now use on top to give me the clearance that I need. Make sure your top of your stud is in the center and not hitting the plate. And then fight with the tool for like, you know, half an hour or something to get it in place. Oh. That's what I always do. So it just seems like there's never, just not quite enough room to get it in there. Oh, there is, but it's always a pain. Get everything lined up. Take your time. I'm off center here. Get my everything lined up here, and just tighten it up. I'm way off center here. I want to get somewhere in the middle. Come on, somewhere in the middle here. Guys, stop fighting me. I'm almost on the ground here, which is, if you're on a lift, boy, it's a lot easier if you put a gun on this, but I'm not on a lift, obviously. You want to check your ball joint. You want to try to get it as straight as you can get it going up into the hole when you start this. I'm looking down in here and make sure my stud is not blocked by the plate. It's not. So I'm just going to start turning this in. I got to turn it in by hand. And a lot of times what will happen is they'll bind up on you. The other one on the other side didn't, but a lot of times they will. So if that happens, and you'll feel it get really tight and it doesn't want to turn, what you need to do is, hopefully you can see this, is you get a hammer when it gets tight and tap on either side of this, and it kind of shocks it and realigns that ball joint as it's going in, and it gets it back in place. So let's see how we do here. I'm just going to let that spin out of the way. You'll be able to see it better anyway. Yesterday I didn't have too many problems with it. It went in fairly easy, and I probably just jinxed myself by saying that, but I did one last week and it was an absolute bear. You had to tap it every 2 turns, every, half a turn to get it to move. It went in, but it was really tight. So that's what I'm doing, just turn the screw. So it's always a good idea. I'm just gonna check it, look and make sure it's going in pretty easy, pretty even. It's a little bit higher on this side and that side, so I'll come up here and just tap it, kind of straighten it back out, and turn it some more. Sorry for the light. Actually went better than I thought it would. All right. Put my tool away here. Alright, this is a snap ring groove right there. It's got to get in that groove. I'm just kind of looking at this, make sure I don't have any issues here. Oh, it looks good. Alright, so let's put the ring in. These, like I said, I prefer when they actually have a real snap ring, you can get a hold of a pair of pliers. These don't. But what I try to do is get it onto the joint completely first. You don't have to get it all the way down in there, but push it on, so now it's all the way down on there. So what I try to do is just try to get in here and see if I can get one edge of it down into the groove. That's what I really want to do without stabbing yourself with a screwdriver. So get it down like that, and I'm holding it with my thumb. I'm just trying to go along here and keep it moving down. Once you get it a little bit, usually when I tap it with a hammer, it immediately pops back out, but we'll see. We'll see what it does here. That's better. So I've got it started. I'm just going to work my way around here, little by little, into the groove. There we go. It actually went better than I thought it would. Now, once it's in there, don't just do that. I want to move this in the groove to make sure it's seated all the way. So I'm going to spin it a little bit. I want to spin it around, make sure it doesn't pop up anywhere. It's completely in, and it looks like this one is. Just want to make sure of that so it can't come out. There it is. You can see it kind of popping out on this side. I want to make sure that I go across from the opening. Just kind of tap it a little bit. Make sure everybody's happy. I like to put a little more grease in them. They put some grease in there, but I'm never really happy with the amount they put in. They seem to put very little. High temp grease. Got to be high temp grease. I wouldn't use anything else, I think, in this. So I'll definitely put some in there. Just gonna clean it out a little bit, make sure there's no dirt, any garbage in there, get it cleaned up. Okay. Now let me get some grease. Some grease in there, some more grease than they put in there. I like to have a little more than they put in there usually. I don't think it's a bad idea. This is why I like greasing them. Alright, got a pretty fair amount in there. You don't need to go nuts, but I do like to get some in there. Here's the boot. We're going to put that boot back on. Now, these can be a real pain. I have a socket. This is actually a 39mm socket. It's big enough that it fits it well. So what I want to do is, don't whale it, but I want to actually reseat it. Felt a little better on that one. Yeah, there it goes. Took a little bit to get it in the right spot. Make sure. You can feel it actually go down on there a little more. There we go. You just want to be careful doing that you don't damage the boot. That's all. That looks good. Same as before. Just take number 2. Get it started. Come on. Come on. went on there a lot. It went on there enough that I can get the washer on there too. Get that going. Come on. Just get it started enough to hold it in place. It can't fall off. Now, back to what we did before. Just tilt it up, line it up, push the control arm down as much as you can. Be careful of the boot of I want this facing forward just a little. Careful of the strut mount. So push down on it. Yeah, push down on it. Let's see if I'm lined up here. I know you can't see it, but I can't see it either. Get my strut mount started. Like I said, you got to really push this down to get it to go where it's supposed to go. Lean it in. So you can see how high it is compared to it. So I think what I did on the other side was I got a long punch and I stepped on that here on the control on the top of the hub to push it down enough to get a punch started in it. I think that's what I did. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think that's what I had to do though. Push it in, push it down with my weight. Come on. It's right there. There it goes. So I got my punch started. Alright. It's not lined up really great, but it's enough that I can get the punch through it. And then I'll line it up. It's a tapered punch. It's really nice to have. Use them all the time. So then I just drive that in until it stops. I don't want to pound it in there. And I want to get it close. Then I get my bolts. Again. Put my bolts back in. Probably have to push the strut inboard is my guess. No, it's actually, yeah, gotta go inboard. Inboard till you line it up. And once you get it lined up, wiggle it. It should go right in there. I put that in backwards. I did. It was facing the other way when it came out. I want to go back in the same way it came out. I believe that was facing the back. Just take the strut. Move this just a little bit, block it with my head, and just push the strut back in like that and move it around. Line it up. And just once you get it partially in there, tap it. Wiggle it, tap it. There it is. Get a nut on that. That's started. Now I can pull my punch out of there and get my top one in. Top my punch out, which I just did. The bolt, same deal. Gotta push it in, wiggle it around. There you go. Not too bad. Not too bad. I'll just leave them loose for now. Now I'm gonna go back down to the bottom, take a look at the stud. Well, I had the camera off, but I don't know how much of this I even showed. This is the bolt that goes through the slot in the ball joint, hold it in place, the pinch bolt. I put anti-seize on that, lined this up and down. It was lined up pretty well. Just tapped it in, don't wail on it. You get it lined up, it'll go right through. I'm just going to tighten it up now. Which you can't really see, but the nut's on this side, obviously, because it's not on that side. Let's see if I can get a socket on that. Get a socket on it might work a little better. Let's make sure it's tight. Check that by hand. Good. Bottom one. Good. Light again. Alright. Let me get my sway bar link up here, which you can't see. I'll tilt you over a little bit here. Whoa, pushed it down. That didn't work how I wanted it to. Let me move you up here a little bit. Alright. It's just a challenge because there's no power. Alright. Get that lined up. Start it back in there. We'll run that in. 17 millimeter. Like I said, if you don't have air tools, there's a hex key, Allen key in the end of that you can use to hold it while you turn it in. Usually with air tools, once they're clean, you can zip it right in there. And third time for the light. Good. Now I have to crush it. Got to line a tie rod on it, end up. And then put the caliper rotor back on there, tighten everything up. I've got to go, turn this, obviously. Get it lined up. Get that started. This does not take a lot of torque. It's pretty light torque actually on this. We'll just use a small gun and cinch it up. I got to line the hole up now for the cotter pin. A little more. A little more. There we go. The one thing that I always like to do, the cotter pins always have a long one that sticks out longer. I like to put that away from the joint itself. It lets you grab that end easier, pull it up. So make sure it's facing up, in this case, away from the actual stud. And you can reach in there with a pair of cutters, with my light again, and just grab the end of the top one, like that. You get one of them, instead of getting both of them. And just peel it back, and then get the other one, wrap it around. Just like that. Alright, what do we got left? Rotor, caliper, ABS sensor. So one thing I do want to do, because I am low on air, I want to make sure that these are tight enough. Just going to check them. I think they are. Not as tight as I'd like them to be. Make sure my head of my bolt's not turning on the other side here. They are a little bit. They are a little bit, but take care of that real quick. Usually the gun would be plenty, but I'm low on air because I don't have any power and my pressure's down a little bit. Not real bad, but enough that I want to check these by hand for sure. Make sure they're tight enough. Okay. $190. Like I said, 175 to 198, I think is what the spec is. So now, I'm going to have to torque that a little more. I won't do it with my torque wrench though. I probably should because it's the longest one I got. Well, I got to break it apart. Let me move it to line the hole up. So a little tighter. Where are you? Where's my hole? Be tighter, not looser on these. There's one right there. There's multiple holes, so I can get that one right there. That's good. All right, pull my screwdriver out. Done with that. There we go. Yay. A couple bad sequencing errors tonight, but not using my head. Gotta be smarter than that. All right. Now let's go through metal checklist. Tight, needle tight, ball joint's tight, has a cotter pin, axle's tight, has a cotter pin, tie rod end is tight, has a cotter pin, caliper mounting bracket is tight. Pull my wire out of here to hang up the caliper and we're done. Just put the wheel back on and it's good to go. Well, that's it for the 2011 Kia Sorento front ball joints, lower ball joints. I wanted to show this because I said something about it earlier, but this is the groove that the bolt, pinch bolt that goes through, if the knuckles out here on the outside of the car that goes through and sits in that groove, and you tighten that bolt up. and it holds this ball joint, locks it in place. I'm going to show you that. I should have shown you the tire. It's not here now. It's there. It's at getting tires in alignment first thing tomorrow morning. The steel cord was showing on the inside edge of these front tires, both sides. The tires were sitting so bad because the ball joint was worn on either side that it's just wearing those tires out. You should get an alignment done, or at least checked after you change this and change ball joint in this. If you have this problem in your car, I hope this helps you out. If you like the video, subscribe below. Thanks for watching.